right, boys. So I want to touch on obviously the music industry and everything. All the events are starting to come back and whatnot. So how do you see, everything bouncing back in terms of festivals? How's the club night scene been recently and stuff like that? How do you see it going through for the next year, permitting, COVID stays away?
Yeah, I think people are just going to go for it because they're like, fuck, opportunities could get taken away just like that. So might as well live every moment while we can. I know I went to a live show, Art vs. Science, last weekend.
Yeah.
Or weekend before, sorry. Yeah, but anyway. But yeah, that was bloody sick. Like, to actually feel like the kick drum hitting your heart is a whole different feeling.
Yeah.
So I think people are craving that and hopefully going to fill venues back up again.
100%, man. I think it's only back on track from now, man. That's what I was saying. Sort of, it's coming back, and like I was saying last week, it was. I felt like I was back in 2019, man. The crowd was there, everyone was pumped, ready to be there. And I think, yeah, bro, it's going to be full steam ahead. People have been locked up for 2 years. A lot of people I know, I haven't seen some of my mates for 2 years just because I haven't been to a festival, bro. And, we just always would go to every festival, or most of them, So I think the festival scene's going to blow up. It's been going pretty hard, but I think with a lot of those cancellations that happened last year and the year before, I think that's impacted a lot of people, like, monetarily, You can't just put all that money, time, even in just the marketing phase, bro. Someone's got to pay to do that stuff, as you would know, man. And if that turns out that everything gets cancelled, that's just a sunk cost at the end of the day, and it's on to the next. And I know a lot of people, I think, have been pushed out of the music industry because of that, or not willing to, like you said, if they can just pack up and knock it all on the head at a moment's notice, then they're not even willing to give it a crack.
Yeah.
I've got high hopes, man. The industry exists there for a reason. It brings people together, brings people pleasure, but it also brings a lot of people a lot of money, man. And if there's money to be made, man, people will make it, bro. So I'm very, very keen.
I feel as though, like, everyone appreciates music. There's a lot of people out there, but even when COVID sort of struck, and you couldn't go to any events, couldn't do anything like that, I feel as though people, as it was slowly starting to come back in, like live music and venues came back, stuff like that, I feel as though there was this reappreciation for it all. Because I remember going down to a bar. I think it was actually the Plough Inn in Brizzy. And I hadn't been there in ages. And it was like one of the first times I'd heard like a live guitar going off. Didn't know the guy who's singing his heart out. When I got there, it would have been a crowd of 10. This is like 5:30 p.m. And it was just like hearing it again, like live. And then you'd walk in next to me, by the end of the night, you've got all this big crowd in, blah, blah. And people are just so excited to have it back, the live music and everything like that. And obviously, like, artists dropped some big tunes as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I actually think really helped.
100%. Well, that was the thing, bro, in terms of a lot, artists all around the world were hunkered down making beats, but no one was releasing them because they wanted to wait until the big summer where everything's open. That's when I can, release that song. So, yeah, so many people have been sitting on that many hot tunes that they've been teasing every week for about 2 years, man. Yeah. Just like itching to come out, man. So.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of club tunes coming out just because clubs are back, so
exactly
better time to release them.
And I'm glad that sort of everyone is on the sort of same page. I mean, at this point, as far as I know, like the UK's opening back up, old Boris is giving them their freedom again. I think we're sort of on our way there as well. So, yeah, hopefully everyone just sort of runs with it, man. We're living with it now, bro. So you just got to come. Yeah, I think you just got to get it, and then you're sweet.
Yeah, I think it's only just starting to come back because it's either people are scared and now have sort of gotten over that and going out now, or like the festivals don't have any like major restrictions. So I know like that's next weekend that I'm going to, but I had a mate who bought the ticket in 2020 when it was, I think, supposed to be in 2020, and it's got delayed.
It's in the Gold Coast there?
No, Sandstone Point.
Oh, that's right, you were saying that.
So yeah, I think now's like just the time when the festivals are coming back because they can do so without losing money, really.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's such a ripple effect of like when you cancel, it's bad for the people wanting to attend the show, but it's for the artists, for just to set up, like the cost of actually having something set up for a particular date, Brisbane Showgrounds or anything like that.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. And having to shift it and fit in with other things, like it's just such a ripple effect, and you just didn't know where to start. Like, you felt bad if you bought a ticket and you're like, oh, it's going to be rescheduled, but the whole process of it all is, particularly in the music industry, is such a big production, festivals, shows, all of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's shifting to like such last minute sales because people are just waiting to the last minute because, they don't know what's going to happen in a month, 2 months, 3 months. Yeah, so exactly. They're just like waiting till like a week of and like, oh yeah, buy my ticket now, which is freaking scary as promoters or the people holding these events because they're like looking at their ticket sales and being like, shit, no one's bought a ticket, no one's bought a ticket, no one's bought a ticket. Yeah. And it's like a bit of a gamble. And then like a few days before they probably jack up.
Yeah.
So I think, it's shifted towards sort of more last minute sort of things.
Last minute sales. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I live just like since last year. I live right next to the Brizzy Showgrounds, bro. And I'm fortunate enough that my apartment like looks into the showgrounds, and it just stares at me because I can literally see myself at like multiple festivals in the exact spot where it's
100%.
also, and it's just like taunting me, dude. And then even when there was a festival on, I was away that weekend back at home, so like I couldn't even listen to it at home.
Yeah.
You know? But no, I'm so keen for it to come back, man. Particularly Splendor. Like I've gone to every Splendor it's been available for the past 4 years. I think it's gonna be my number 5. It'll either be 4 or 5, and just from doing that, man, I've met friends, had experiences that I'll remember for life, bro. And that is something I'm so fortunate. And a lot of people just take festivals and whatnot for an excuse to take drugs, which is pretty ironic, but like I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of people do that, but my main focus is honestly like music for one, because that's what you're doing when you go there. But hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your mates, meeting people, like making sure everyone's all right while you're doing it as well, but just having a good time, eh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like I did a run of festies 2019, 2020 summer, just before COVID too, which is good. But like you're saying about going to festivals to party versus listen to music, I freaking hated myself for this, but Wildlands, like the first Wildlands, I don't remember anything. Full on blackout. And then like the next day I was like, why the fuck did I get like that? Like I literally bought a ticket to go see all these cool like DJs play.
Yeah.
And
Did
now
you see
I
adrenaline
can't
at
remember
all?
fucking shit. I was like, oh.
How's the festival, Dibsy? I don't fucking know.
That's it. Like that's it. So I was like, oh, did you go to Wildlands? Yeah, but I don't remember it. So no, I wasn't really there.
That's when people say, oh, let me check my phone, man.
No, boys, that's awesome. Well, to finish the podcast, first of all, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Anytime, bro. Appreciate it.
And I'm really keen to get you guys back in again as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
This would be awesome. And yeah, keep at it with everything that's going well. I really wanted to get you both in because you both have, obviously, I know you guys from college as well.
Yeah.
We haven't seen each other too much recently.
Yeah,
but
not for a long time. I haven't seen you for like probably since like COVID and that, bro. I haven't seen you for a long while, so it's good to see you, bro. For 100%.
Sure. It's great to have you guys here. So, but yeah, in general, like keep at it, doing really well. Obviously, you know, main clubs you guys play at the moment, like Prohibition and stuff like that. Any works come out, you know, definitely let us know. But what I do want to finish on is sort of what advice would you give to, you know, anyone in the music industry, no matter where they're at, and, you know, regardless of what they play, whether it's keyboard, drums, vocals, anything, what advice would you give if they wanted to get into the music industry as somebody who wants to continue it professionally or even just do it as a hobby on the side?
Yeah. So I think it's pretty accessible these days to get into something. Like, for example, music production, you literally can use a laptop and a stock DAW, like a digital audio workshop.
Yeah.
So all the stock plugins and that, you can pretty much make a hit off. I know for a fact because Disclosure's Latch was made on like their laptop with stock Logic plugins.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty crazy. So they just proved that you can make a hit with like $300-$400.
I watched that run through just the other day on YouTube.
Oh.
It's so good, man.
Yeah. And like in saying that, there's so much out there now, especially with like lockdowns. People have been sharing all like their resources. Like I'll keep going back to Disclosure because I fucking love them. But they literally just broke down all their projects on like Twitch streams. So like as a producer, they're pretty much giving away all their biggest secrets for free.
Yeah.
And you just got like, so yeah, just absorb because there's heaps of information out there. Get yourself like a cheap version or something because cheap stuff's pretty decent too. Like most.
So you don't have to start with the best equipment or anything like that.
That's it. Like, yeah, that mixer I had in college was like a freaking $200 thing that, played heaps of gigs on. So
Yeah.
does the same thing as the big ones do, really. Just doesn't look as cool.
And it was those, you know, that small little controller that got you the gigs to earn you the money to get your big stuff, you know? Like,
and it's like that too, like reinvest and just be out there. Yeah, just absorb.
100%, bro. Yeah, I agree, man. I think, number one, you got to back yourself, bro. Like, no matter what you're doing, you got to be behind yourself, particularly because no one else is going to get behind you unless you do. So you got to make sure what you're putting out there is something that you want to do. Like, yeah, pretty much just make sure you're in it for the right reasons. If you want to learn the keyboard or be a DJ because you want to be rich and famous, then you've already lost the game, man. That's not how it works, because the people who go far in this industry are the people who naturally progress through the love of the industry. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into it, marketing and particularly the digital space we live in now. It's a bit more nuanced than that. But in terms of actually getting into it, bro, make sure you're getting into it for the right reasons, because that will take you further than anything ever will, bro. that's the best motivation I've gotten, and it's particularly when you're sort of second guessing yourself, like when you are starting out. You know, I DJed for hundreds of hours in my bedroom, literally hundreds of hours in my bedroom alone, because I was so frustrated with what I was like, dude, no one's going to listen to this shit, bro. Well, I wouldn't, man. Why the hell would someone pay me to play this to someone else to dance to? So, you know, it's perfecting that craft. Go ahead, sit in your own room and listen to what you've made before you show someone else, because no one wants to listen to crap, bro. And if you're just feeding out crap for the sake of it, then what are you doing, man? Like, you're wasting everyone's time, including your own, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you reckon in terms of, you know, like the world we live in terms of social media, but also like, is there a couple of platforms you boys use to really start getting your stuff out there?
Yeah.
Space, or like any advice on what people might use? For example, like I remember listening to a lot of your stuff on SoundCloud to start with.
Yeah, man.
I used to screenshot it, send it to you.
Yeah, bro, dude.
I was listening, and then Dibsy, when you released some other stuff as well, particularly on like Spotify and stuff like that, it was good.
Yeah, SoundCloud was like really much a underground base for a very long time, kind of before Spotify really took off. So like before 2016, 2015 maybe.
It's the true OG, man. You know, there's like SoundCloud era, if you will, of heaps of rap artists like all Juice and Kodak and that and X. They all came up in the SoundCloud rap era, you know, and even SoundCloud trap, like definitely came a long way.
Because it's an easy platform to put your stuff out there.
It's free, bro.
And then you can easily send it off to people, like mixes to like singles to remixes, so you can put it all on there. So there was a period where like when Spotify started, you know, there's kind of like just the big artists out there. Yeah. These days it's a little bit more easier to distribute to like your Spotify, Apple Music and all those platforms. So it has become a lot easier now to get your music out there. You know, you can pay like, I think it's like $35 to $50 for like a lifetime fee to have your music on the platform.
Yeah, even Dibs was hitting me up like, it would have been a year ago. He's like, bro, I just paid this $15 fee, but I can release multiple people's music. So if you need to release any beats on Spotify, just hit me up, you know. And I was like, okay, sick, bro.
That's awesome.
Yes, SoundCloud, bro, that's where a lot of my reach and just where I stuck in, you know, even now, bro, I get 200 plays on SoundCloud a week and I haven't uploaded a mix for months, and even before then, it's months before that, dude. And that's just because, firstly, I think the SoundCloud algorithm is pretty good in terms of just getting people keep listening. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's done a lot for me because a lot of people that I either don't know or have, you know, never met me will hit me up on Instagram, or even I'll bump into him somewhere and they say, bro, my mate showed you my mix, like show me your mix, and that was sick as. So SoundCloud's huge, bro, and as well, obviously your traditional social medias, Facebook, Instagram, like we were having a little conversation about earlier. TikTok's probably a good one to get into. Yeah. I think the dangerous thing about that is, though, when you start looking at short form content, and like, you know, we're living in the attention economy, bro. People want your attention for as much as possible, and when you're trying to get someone's attention for 7 seconds, some people try either cram way too much stuff into 7 seconds or not enough, bro. And it's just like, you just get a bit confused or overwhelmed or even underwhelmed, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but even as a content creator, you could fall into traps of like just focusing on making little snippets rather than doing full fleshed out decent songs.
Exactly,
so
man.
You gotta balance it all, really.
Yeah. Sort of like pick your niche of what you actually want to do with it, if you're keen on it, and how you want to go about it. No, it makes complete sense.
Play to your strengths, bro. Exactly right, man. There's no point trying to do something you're not good at, you know. Like Gary V, he always like says like back yourself and play to your strengths, bro, because that's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But as well, like you were saying, man, there's quite a popular bass artist named Ghastly, and he's just posted recently a massive story on Instagram, and a lot of people have reshared it because someone he was working with an artist, and they basically said, this is really cool, but do you reckon you could make it a bit more TikTok-y? And he just sort of like threw up his hands and said, like, there's a problem with this industry. Like, we shouldn't be like trying to create music and like we were saying earlier, moments for people for a 7-second video on, you know, to get 1 million plays for something, you know, like it's just not worth it. And that's not longevity, bro. You hear songs that blow up on TikTok, in my opinion, you'll hear them and it's like, wow, it's everywhere. I'm hearing this song everywhere. But next week, you don't want to hear that song at all because you've heard it so much, or, you know, like it just drills into your brain, bro.
Yeah, the repetitiveness of it. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I've found so many good music off TikTok, any YouTube video. That's what I implore. If someone's looking to be a DJ or anything, if you hear a good song, get a Shazam out, take a video, do something, man. Try collect that.
Steal other people's music.
100%, bro, because that can create, if you're feeling a moment and you think, damn, this song's sick, like, man, imagine what you could do for someone else. And that's why when I'm looking for music and things like that, or using social media, I think, well, what would it be like if I picture myself like, damn, okay, so if I was in a big club in a big dark room, there's 300 people in the room, and it's thumping. What would I want them to like be looking at me and listening to? So you got to put yourself in that moment for me.
Yeah. Put yourself in their shoes.
Exactly right, bro. Exactly right. And Instagram and stuff is good. I've been a bit slack on Instagram lately, bro. I haven't posted anything. One, because I bought a film camera, but I haven't got any of the film developed. I've just been a bit broke, but also a bit slack because I got to come.
But that's the thing. You go through periods with it, right? Particularly when you're trying to do more. Like if you're creating music, stuff like that. Like your focus is on that as well. It's actually hard to juggle everything at once.
Oh, exactly, man. Exactly. And yeah, when you are just, I get stressed out when I'm. Doing the most important part of DJing is finding that music and collating your playlists. But I get stressed out and I start getting anxiety. It's like, oh shit, I haven't posted on Facebook about it or Instagram about what I'm playing. Like, like half the people even see it and even care. But, you know, you got to stick in people's minds. And so the more you keep posting, the more you're in their mind, bro. I
suppose you're just training yourself to do it at the same time. Like you're still learning, you're going through the industry, you're adapting, and at least you're working out like where you need to work on. You'd be like, okay, I'm creating all the content in terms of like my music, listening, stuff like that, recording. It's just like, hey, maybe just this week I need to just work on making 1 or 2 posts or anything like that. Because it's a lot to juggle. Like you work out where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are. And you just sort of go from there. Because putting it all together is time consuming as well.
Exactly, man.
And that's the other part to it.
Being an independent artist is hard as fuck because you're pretty much doing the work of like a PR team of 10 pretty much that they usually do.
And that's where it is good to lean on blokes like yourself, bro, who do have a bit of knowledge about the marketing or social media space. When you just think, well, what's the harm in asking him, what does he reckon about this? Or, could I make this any better? I think, like we were talking earlier about feedback and asking your mates for feedback. And I think that's, obviously, you don't get too good feedback sometimes, but it is really important when they say, well, bro, do this better, particularly in posting social media stuff, man. I used to post the dodgiest posters. And my mum posts on Facebook because she's
the mums are the most supportive fans.
She just posts the most crook stories, bro. I'm like, Mum, this looks like it's been made on paint, but like worse. I just think, dude. So what I'm trying to say is basically the more you go through the industry or just like life in general, you find tools that can aid you, and people create tools. And so nowadays, where it used to take me 2-3 hours or, an hour to line up every fucking thing on Instagram, bro. Now there's just an app called Canva, which either A, gives you a bunch of presets on what you want to do, just whack your own photos in there, or you just create your own. And that's been probably the best thing. Like I tried to do all that stuff on Photoshop and it's just, oh man, it was no good. And then it
just adds that extra element, but like stuff like Canva's fantastic.
Oh, it's nuts, really help you out. I couldn't recommend Canva.
Yeah, the technology.
And that's the beauty of it. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, and like you want your own spin on it. And that's the other part. Some people do try to make things perfect, particularly when you could try and create like sort of a brand for yourself, which you've both done as well. But even just not having to go, this has got to be perfect and to get it done, but also like spending a bit of time on it, collaborating on what you want it to look like and stuff like that, and it sort of just paints a picture. But you're exactly right. Using tools, using people, like people like some stuff like us, being like, hey, what do you reckon about this? Should I post on that? Things like that. Just like you said before, getting feedback from, and you're in the group chat with, the other DJs around Australia.
Yeah.
Just tools like that can help you. I think that's the best part.
Hell yeah, man.
100%. But boys, I've absolutely loved having you both on. You've both built a brand in yourselves of Lurke and Dibsy. And from college days, seeing you guys pretty much, Dibsy was still pretty much at the starting point in terms of Brisbane, 100%. I remember walking past the corridor when you started to play with it a bit. I was like, Lurke Parker's making a few good tunes, and you came up with the name Lurke and stuff. I was like, it's really starting to hit. So you boys have both built a brand in your own right as well. But what I love and having you guys on the podcast is that you have these moments where it's just like you can see them when they're playing together. There's that collaboration part of it.
Oh, yeah.
But both building the separate brand, which is awesome and actually quite unique. So really proud of you boys, and thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks, bro. No, I appreciate it. And likewise, man, I thank old Dibsy, man. He's done a lot for me and put me on a lot on the path I'm on today, and wouldn't be here without this bloke, bro. So thanks so much.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks heaps.
Thanks, bro.
Parker, really. Freaking what goes around comes around.
Thank you, boys.
No time.
Good stuff.
Bro. MacArthur Marketing merch coming soon.
Coming soon.